Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Fatrobzpizza. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Fatrobzpizza again. We're going to build another computer. This time we're going to go with an Am4 with an X3D CPU. This case is Cooler Masrer E301. It's in black, has tempered glass side panel, and anyway, that's what we're going to build today. Let's see what this thing looks like. Should have done this earlier. Okay, get this one packed. Okay. It's a bigger case than I was expecting. Okay, so we have tempered glass on the side. This has 3 fans in the front. I believe they are ARGB solid side panel. On top we have a filter, USB-C, USB, combo jack, reset switch, and the power switch. And on the back we have power supply. It's in its own basement. That's probably why it's so tall. Several PCI slots. This is where we're going to mount an extra fan for exhaust. And here's where your I/O is. Okay, first up, we are gonna, wow, those are on tight. We are going to unscrew the side panels, put them where they'll be safe. That was tight. Okay. So anyway, and I'll put the screws back in the case so they don't get lost. But we want to move this tempered glass somewhere safe. Put these back in. Okay, those are there. We'll take off this other side panel that's solid. Put that somewhere safe as well. Okay, now inside the case, we have the basement or the power supply, and we're also going to be hiding cables down here, so that's good. One of these fans flows down in there to help with the ventilation. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 standoffs on this one. We may not be needing those 2 outer ones. We're using a micro ATX motherboard. It looks like, oh, this looks like a mini ITX or a micro ATX case, so we'll see. It looks like it was plenty of room on the top if we were going to use a water cooler, but I think we're going to go with an air cooler. I've got a big one. Okay, so let's put this to the side for just a moment. And what parts are we going to use? We're going to add a dark rock 120mm fan. No ARGB in this, just basic black for the exhaust at the top of that rear. We have the Red Dragon Odor ARGB dual tower CPU cooler, and it's for Am4 as well as many other things. It looks like it has ARGB built into the side. It's got a plastic cover. It looks kind of cool. Okay, now for the power supply, we use these all the time. A lot of places do. Sigotep GN650W 650 watt power supply. It is non-modular, meaning it has all the cables as part of it, and we'll get this unbunched. We're not going to use many of these cables, or few of these anyway, so we're going to tuck them in the bottom. Okay, so that's what we're going to use for power supply. Now, for the motherboard, we have the Gigabyte B550MK, and it is Ryzen 5000 ready, socket Am4. Okay. Inside, we have the parts that we're going to use. Now, we won't need this SATA cable because we're not going to use a 7 drive, but I do have 2 sticks of DDR3200 RAM, and that is 16 gigabytes times 2, so that's 32 gigabytes total. Okay, so for the hard drive, we're going to use the 1 terabyte SSD NVMe from KingSpec. I've used that brand before, and it's pretty good. There's our I/O shield. Now for the processor, we are using the Ryzen, let's see, there's that Ryzen 7 5700 X3d, so that will be good for gaming, which is what we do on our computers here. Let's see, motherboard kind of has a black and gray scheme going here. That's cool. Already has the CMOS battery in there. That's good. Has a good I/O. We've got, let's see, DisplayPort, which we're not going to use, and HDMI. We have PS2 and a couple of USB 2s, and we have 4 USB 3s, a couple more USB 2s. We have a LAN port, and then the onboard audio. Now on the board, we have an 8-pin CPU power connector, 4 RAM slots, which we're just going to use 2 of. There's where our processor will go, 24-pin power. We have SATA, 2 SATA ports here on the side and then here on the bottom. Then we have USB 3. This is where our graphics card will sit. This is where our NVMe will sit, and it has another slot for a second one if we need it. Let's see, looking for fan headers. Looks like we have one there and one here. Needing one for that fan that's going to be above here, and we'll probably have to come down here and hit that one. Hopefully that cable's long enough. Then we have the audio here, USB. There's a USB 3, and then our front panel. Okay, I think that's everything on that board. We'll just put everything in here until we need it. Okay. Now, for the graphics card. For the graphics card, we are going to go with this MSI 3-fan. This is a 3060 12GB. It has 1 HDMI and 3 DisplayPort outs. It has a cover on the bottom here. Anyway, this takes a 8-pin connector for power. It should fit in that case. It's a pretty big card. Anyway, this is going to allow us to play some games. Okay. I guess we'll start with the motherboard. Guess I should have ended with this so I didn't put it all away. Okay, let's take these parts out for now. And there's the motherboard. We're going to build it right on this box. And now on this motherboard, since we have 4 slots, it tells us right here if we're going to use 2 slots to use that farthest one out, and then this, I guess the third one back from this way. So we're going to pop those tabs, the ones we're going to use. Now, as far as the CPU cooler, I haven't used that one before, so I'm just going to leave these on there in case we can use them. And it does look like this board has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It does use all 8 of those, so I'm glad it does have those extra standoffs in that case. I think we're going to be needing them. So to start off, we move this here, and then what that does is opens up this processor here. Alright, so pop that open. Now you want to be careful with these because on the Am4, the pins are on the bottom. And they're easily bent, so we don't want that to happen. Let's see. There's usually a triangle on here that shows you which direction to put it in. Let's see that. Okay. Anyway, it does have these 2 on each side things there that we can match up with this. And then you shouldn't have to put much tension in there. It should just drop right in. And then you push this down, secure it, and that holds that in. Okay, so that should be fine. Okay, we'll put that to the side. Now this NVMe, I'm going to put right here, and it looks like it has a built-in holder, so we're not going to need the screw that usually comes with it. Anyway, like I said, this is a king spec NVMe SSD, and it's a 1 terabyte. So that'll have plenty of room to store games, plus the operating system. Okay. And the color. There we are. And it comes with a screw as well to hold it in, but we're not going to need it. Just going to put that back together so it doesn't get lost. Now, the NVMe has a notch on the end here. And it has a notch on the side here. We want to put it in at an angle with the slot matching up. And okay, move that up. And that's how that goes. You put that little plastic piece back down in here. And then that is what holds that in. Then you can twist this to the side to hold it. Okay, so we're good on that. So we have our processor in, we have our storage in there. Now we want to put our RAM in here. Now the RAM, this has built-in heatsink on it, has a slot here. And what you want to do is match it up here. It's offset. You're going to make sure that you look and see that the notch is going to go in the right place. That's how that goes. Use your thumbs to push straight down. And you hear a double click. You do the same thing with the next gray one. Match up that slot in the bottom. Get that placed where it's to the sides. Use your thumbs. And you hear the clicks. Okay, when you push down, it pulls these side things up, and you shouldn't have to do that with your thumbs. All right, so we've got our RAM, we have our SSD, we have our processor. So now we should probably check out that CPU cooler, get that put on. All right. Okay. This has the screws and mounts that we're going to need. We're going to use the AMD ones. This should be for Intel. Yes, so we're not going to need the Intel ones. It comes with a little tube of thermal paste, which we may need. And it looks like it has its own brackets, so we're probably going to have to take off the that's on the board. Let me just do that real quick. So that's the back plate. Find it. There we go. Don't want to lift that up again. Okay, so here's the AMD parts. It looks like get that up top. Put this one on the bottom. And here is the unit itself. It's a 6 heat pipe. It does have a plastic film here to protect that flat surface. And make sure. Okay, so I think those go in. Like that. So I'm going to start those screws. So it looks like we have to attach. We have to attach these with these little bitty screws. So before we get this all put together, let's see, how is this going to sit? This is going to sit here, and it's going to plug in. There it is, right down here. So we're going to want this. Then for the ARGB, I'm going to pull that one through, because I think that's going to go up and through this back part to plug in behind the motherboard. I think that's how we're going to do it. Yeah. Okay. So now we lift this motherboard up. This back plate comes off. That's the Intel. And then, let's see. This is gonna... Okay, we're gonna peel this off. And we're gonna put the thermal paste on the CPU. Okay. All right. Got thermal paste put on. This is going to sit somewhat like that. Mounted. Okay, now this power will go plugged in right here, the CPU fan. Okay. We're going to tuck that cable to make it look good. All right, and then this ARGB fan is going to go out the back of the case. Okay, so let's move this for now. Get that case up here. All right. This is that Cooler Masrer. Okay. On the back side, this is where we'll do our cable management. That ARGB cable will come out the back here. Let's see. What cables do we have? Okay, there's our bag of screws that we were needing. So we move that over here. And it looks like these are, yes, these are all the connectors for the fans up front. Power and ARGB. Okay, we're good there. So we have a 3-pin for power, and all this is ARGB. There we are. Come through, and we got to plug it up to this. I may need to add a hub. I think I may have to, because this only has three connectors. And we only have one ARGB on the board, on the motherboard. Looking out. Okay, so we're going to use this hub, and it is powered by SATA power. This is what's going to connect to the motherboard. We'll bring the other one in here and plug it in here. This has a lot of ports, but I think that's the only one I've got. Okay, so we took off that one jumper, and we're going to hook all the ARGB up to this hub. It'll be powered by SATA. This will go to the motherboard for the ARGB. This will plug to the power on the bottom of the motherboard. Okay, so this computer motherboard does not have RGB. So we hook it up here, it'll just be, I think it'll just rotate through like rainbow. It's okay. Okay. Anyway, that's going to go out the front. Okay. Now these other cables are front panel, and we have USB 3.0, which is that big blue connector. We have front panel. Oh, that's pretty handy if that's just the front panel. Okay, HD audio. Okay, so I'm going to tuck these cables and turn this over because we're going to install that motherboard. Okay, we already looked at the standoffs, and there is 8 of them, and we did find out that there's 8 of those holes there. So the next step is, before we put that motherboard in here, is the I/O shield. What you do is you just put this in here and you pop the corners in, and that's what holds it. Now on the motherboard, the audio, onboard audio is at the bottom, and that's these 3 holes here. So we're going to make sure that that is at the bottom. You see okay? There we go. That should be better to see. Put these funnels in. Pop 1. Pop 2. Pop 3. Okay, all of them. All of them are in. Ready to go. Okay, now that fan. That fan is going to go right there. And we're going to route that plug-in over to a fan header. Whatever one is closest. So that will be that. And we're going to screw those in, and those take these funky screws. I've got a couple of them here, hopefully 4, but they're really a super coarse threaded screw. They're just for hooking up fans. Let me see if I got a couple more. There's 2 more is all I need. Okay. There's 1. And 2. Okay, so we got all 4. So we get our little, no, that's the wrong one, screwdriver. And get these started. Okay, all 4 in there. It spins free. There's the power for it. Okay, so we're ready to install the motherboard. And that, I think what I'm going to do is leave that cable below. So we're going to just set down on top of those. Make sure all the screw holes line up. And I think they do. All right, now that bag of screws has all the screws we're going to need to hook up. Oh, that's pretty tall. Is that going to even fit? Test fit just to be sure. Wow. It barely fits. Okay, but it fits, so that's important. All right. Okay. And in here, they always have some zip ties for wire cable management. They have little rubber grommets, or I don't know. But here are all the screws that we're going to need for the case. Now, the power supply screws are these hex head with a coarse thread. And to put the motherboard in, it's going to be this little screw with a fine thread. And it looks like it has like a built-in washer around the edge of the head. So that's how you know you have a motherboard screw. And we're going to put one in for now, not tight, just really not even that snug, to make sure that we have everything lined up and going in the right spot. Looks like we do. Well, all right, guys. So the standoffs that came with this case were weird, and they wouldn't let the screws go in. I took them out and tried them by hand, and it still didn't work. But I had some extra standoffs from other builds, so I put new ones in, and everything went in just fine. Everything is nice and tight and installed. I'm going to hook up some fans on the fan headers, and then install the power supply, get everything hooked up, and I think this will be ready to install Windows and FIFA games, which it should. So that's the plan. I'm gonna hook up these fans. There's another one from the back that's got to come up front, but we'll do that when we do the cable management. I got 4 screws here for the power supply, which it should come with its own, but just in case. And then that is so tall, it's crazy. All right, let's go. Oh, the whole front comes off. You can see the fans, I guess. Oh, it's just magnetic. Wow, that's kind of neat. Never saw that before. Learn something new every day, right? Okay, so we're gonna get the power supply installed, but first, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and run these wires just in case. With that power supply in there, it might be difficult to get these cables to go where I want them. Okay, so I'm gonna lift this up, turn it around where I can see, where y'all can see. Okay, so is that better light? Okay. Okay, so USB 3 is right here in the middle. And you have front panel, which is right, front panel should be right here in the end of that white. So that's going to go there. Front panel. Let's get 2 there. And we have header, fan header. Certainly I didn't just use that one. Did I use them? Okay, there's one for the CPU. Huh. I guess there is only one extra. So what I'll probably have to do is get a splitter. So what we're going to do is, this is a 2-to-1, and I'm going to plug this into the motherboard and then run the rest out the back. So we'll unplug this fan. And then plug that into this to make it easier to pull through. Okay, so then that will plug into the motherboard there. Yep. Then everything else I'm just going to push down through, go out the back. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess while I have it up here, I'm going to hook up the USB 3. That goes in only one way. It's got a notch on the top. Let's go all the way down. Anyway, HD audio. It has one pin missing, the second one in. So you want to match that up with the missing pin on the motherboard. Missing pin on the bottom. So put that cable down there, that cable down there. All right, I think I got the cables rather where I need them. Okay. On the back, here's the power for the fans. And here's that power board. You plug that in. And from the power supply, we're going to get that SATA cable and plug it in here to give this power. Okay, we got all the ARGB. It's sad. I don't have ARGB on the board. Okay, so we are going to install the power supply, which is that Seagotech 650. I'm going to undo this mess of wires. Look at them all. Okay, so the ones we're going to need are, let's see, these are all in. Okay, we're going to need those 24 pin for sure. That's board power. We're going to need a CPU power, which is an 8 pin, which is this one. Yeah, CPU power. So 24 pin, 8 pin. And we're going to need one for the graphics card, which is a PCIe, which is this one. Okay, does have an extra CPU power in case you get a higher end board, I guess. Then we have, there's our SATA power, and then these other ones, which is another SATA and then a Molex, we are not going to need. So while this is out and easy to get to, I'm just going to zip tie them, or I'll just wire tie them together, since that's handy. And that'll just keep that out of the rat's nest. And what we're going to do is probably just shove them down that hard drive cage. Since we're not going to use it, we don't have a regular hard drive. Okay, the way this works is there's vents in the bottom of this case. So we're going to put this where that fan, where the fan is pointing down. Okay. There you go. Okay. Now on the back, can you see that? Everything's black, so it's kind of hard to see. Okay. It's 4 holes, 4 openings here, and that is how we're going to mount this power supply. Now that's the power supply. We got the fan. Now it's time to hook these cables up where they go. Okay. We have a little bit of a mess, but we're gonna make it look good by the time we're done. All right. So this is the ARGB, which we're gonna use here shortly. There's the fan powers. Get them out of the way for now. Okay, now these cables that we're not going to need, I'm just going to go ahead and get them. So, and this hard drive, we don't want it right up against that lower fan. Okay, now for the power, now the motherboard power is right up here. So I'm going to put the CPU. It's going to just go right up in this slot there. Might be a little difficult to get put in though, since that CPU cooler is so big. And this is our power for that there. Graphics card, that is gonna go up here. CPU. Now this is the 24 pin, and that is going to go right behind where this is sitting. So we'll move that. It's going to go in there, and this is the extra CPU power, which we're not going to need. So that'll be one of those things I tuck under this bunch of cables there. All right, and then this is that power for the RGB, and it goes only one way. There it goes. Okay, so that's going to be somewhere around there. So I'm going to tuck this cable as well. We're not going to need that in the way. We want to have this as flat as possible because that back panel's got to sit over this. So that looks like it might work out pretty good. Okay. And then these are those fan cables. Tuck down here too. And then we'll get this tied and looking better here directly. Okay, so that's that part. Now on the front, this is the cable for the graphics card. Can you see? Kind of hard to see. It's going to get plugged right in there. We are going to plug in this 24 pin, and that plugs into this 24 pin right here. I'm just going to twist it around, get it in there until it clicks. There it goes. Okay, so that's all the way in there. Push a little bit of the extra cable back through. Yep. Okay, we got to hook up that 8 pin in the top here, and this cooler is so big that there's hardly any room. And that clicked. Yep. Okay. Okay, so now we're ready for the graphics card. The way that goes, it's going to go in here. Okay, so there's the 24 pin plugged in. Then we have our front panel USB 3, our audio over here on the side. Cable's tucked. So we're going to see where this is going to actually sit to see if there's something, because we're going to have to take at least, yeah, that's a 2. So if that sits right there, it'll be these top 2 that we have to take out. Okay, those are the PCI slot covers. Should get these in here tight. It should only be finger tight. Just take this all the way off. that's off. And then these things are called breakaway PCI covers, and you just bend it in, and you twist it a few times, or wiggle it, I guess. Push in, wiggle, there it goes. And these are disposable, you can't reuse them. Okay, now we want that cable out of the way. Sure. Well, we put this in. Now we want to take this protective cover off, because that's what goes in that PCI slot. And we're going to get this in right where it needs to be. Okay. Everything looks clear. And it snapped down, so we're good. We are good. Get this put back up loosely. Now, the same coarse screws that we use for the power supply, we need for the to hold down that card. And I think I've got 2 silver ones. That should work. Okay, so we got this where we need to be, and to hold it from wiggling and stuff, we want to put a couple screws in. Okay. Okay. Okay, tight and tight. And then we push that down and then finger tight these, thumb screws. Okay. No rattling. Okay, now this graphics card only takes 1 8-pin. So what we're going to do before we plug this all in, I think on this side of this card and come up and over. I think that would look better. Okay, so what we're going to do is take a few wire ties, zip ties, make this look a little better. Okay. So I'm going to keep that down there, put one more here. Get one more. Anyway, keep this from flopping around. We're going to zip tie that to the cable itself. Okay, and then tighten it. Okay, and then after that, we just cut the excess off. Don't cut the wires. All right, now this should be able to go around the back under this edge of the board. Anyway, so we're going to make this loop up and then snap down into this card. It's the PCI power for the graphics card. Okay, that's clicked. You want that to then stay down. It's going to go under. Okay. Okay, now that's installed. Lift this up, make sure everything's plugged in, and we're not going to get this done yet because I want to make sure that it comes on and works before I put it all back together. You know what I mean? So you can hook power to it. Power supply. Make sure this is turned on. I guess I can HDMI. DisplayPort goes HDMI. There's my cable. Now we want keyboard and mouse. There we are, keyboard and mouse. So that might get up here. Okay, keyboard and mouse. You got power, you got graphics card. Now, let's just see. Everything comes up like it's supposed to. Okay. Power on top. The fans all work. I don't have any color on them. And we've got our splash screen, which means graphics card is coming up, which that's good. Okay, so I need to get my boot drive. I think we're going to start with Windows 10 on this one. There we are, Windows 10 boot disk. Actually, put in here to one of these USB 3s because it's quicker. Okay, Windows is wanting to install. So what I'm going to do is install Windows and then download Fortnite or something, and then get everything updated. And then I'll be back on here to do gameplay, and we'll see how this computer does. It is the 5700x3d Am4 with the DDR4 RAM. I think it's CL16. So it's pretty quick and it should work perfectly. And it should be a nice little gaming rig. Kind of on a higher end. That CPU is expensive. So is the graphics card. Right now everything is expensive, so that's just the way it works. But I'll see if I can get that the RGB part to at least come on. If I can't get since I can't get the ARGB to work. And okay, we'll see you in the next video. Settings. We are Windows 120, DirectX 12, custom presets, shadows, medium, bar, thanks, Batman. X3d Ryzen 7 Am4. It has 1TB hard drive, 32GB of DDR4, 16 CL16 RAM. Msi Rtx3060 12Gb 301 case with the tempered side glass. This, of course, will be for sale on Marketplace. Still looking for a local place to sell these through so people can look at them.